Hello everybody, Mama Bear Mel here. Welcome to the back porch. Actually, today's video isn't on the back porch. It's like 40 some degrees out, but with the wind blowing around at 13 miles an hour, legit feels like it's 20 degrees, and that's just too cold for me. I wanted my first video, with my hair done and teeth and blah blah blah, for season 2. But to be honest with you, it is about 12:40 at night, closer to 12:45. I've been doing homework for the last 4 hours, and I'm just tired. So I was like, you know what? They're used to seeing me in, my at-home clothes with no teeth in. That's just how it is. So I'm sitting here. I'm drinking my giant cup of coffee, and I'm doing homework. The schoolwork is that of a 20-some-year-old, but my body ain't. But it's worth it. In the end, I'll have a teaching degree and I'll be certified to teach children. So that's the ultimate goal, is to have my teaching career start. So I'm doing the Back Porch Thoughts first episode, sitting at my desk, doing my homework. Just trying to get through the last couple hours before the kids go back to school. They've been off of school the last couple weeks, and what a wonderful end to the holidays. I got lots of time with them. I got to really start some new traditions this year here in Nevada that we didn't quite have in Ohio, so it was really nice. My first video today, what I wanted to talk to you guys about was having adult children live at home, what that's like, some of the things that kind of shift and change when that occurs. For those of you that have kids that are in high school and they're going to be adults before they graduate, and for those of you, who your kids have moved home after branching out into the world, or after graduating college, or even after a really bad breakup, and they just need their parents and they need the stability of home to kind of, bring them back around to where they need to be. My own experience, I moved back home at the age of 19, and I stayed that way until after I was 21. It went from me moving home and being pregnant at the time to me getting another place, but my mom needing help after she got out of a bad situation, so that she came and lived with me. So it was like the times kind of, turned and switched and shifted, who had the place and who didn't, but the relationship itself kind of stayed the same. My mom, at that age, never really told me what to do. So, I was prepared for that time in my life before I ever moved out the first time. I ended up in a bad situation, and I needed to come home and get stabilized and figure out where I was. So when it shifted to where my mom was living with me instead of me living with her, the relationship itself did not shift, because at that age I was 21 years old, and my mom really didn't tell me what to do. I was an adult. Now, if I was making dumb decisions, she'd let me know about it, because my mom was always great like that, and I appreciate everything that she did when I was at that time in my life, because she really helped me shape who I wanted to be as an adult, even though I already was an adult. So that's my experience with that, of coming home after I've already been out of high school, and starting a life, and then everything kind of implodes, and you need that stability and that safe space that your parents can provide. What we're going through right now is I actually have two adult children that live at home. One is 19, one is just turned 18, 5 days before Christmas. As you guys know, I told you that my oldest, my 19-year-old, she goes to school twice a week. So she's technically still in high school, even though it's the adult education program, because she's earning that high school diploma. She's not just going for a GED. It's just a program they have set up when you've already done 4 years of high school, which she has. My 18-year-old, who just turned 18 back in December, she is a junior this year. She won't even be a senior till next year. So she's actually going to be 19 when she graduates. So she's going to be an adult for a year and a half before she even graduates high school. So with that kind of shifting of the relationship, what we have implemented is my 19-year-old, she only goes to school 2 days a week, so she does have a job. She does help with the bills, she does help with the food. We're trying to get her trained almost to where when she goes out on her own, she will have the skills and the practice of paying her bills before getting what she wants. And that's kind of what we're trying to instill, because she has the skills with the dishes and the laundry and the cleaning and keeping home. We've instilled those into her. However, with that, she needs to have the skills to be able to survive on her paychecks. So we're right now, that's what we're in training with, is, at the beginning of the month we sit down, we show her the bills, we show her what's due, we show her a portion, and we help her kind of budget what she has left over for, after food. Because I don't have her like buy all the food, but we have her contribute a portion of it, of her paychecks, to the food. Even though the whole house is eating that one meal that we make with that I buy with that money, it's a portion of it, so where she can kind of learn that budgeting as well. So basically, we are still training for her to move out eventually. It just takes her a little bit longer to catch on to all of it, so she's not ready to go out into the big bad world and try to work and try to pay bills and then also try to get her high school diploma. Same thing with my 18-year-old. She just turned 18. She's actually worked before when we lived in Ohio. And we went through the budgeting thing with her. She just needs a little bit more practice. However, she's in school full time. So when she graduates and she goes on to college, she's already going to have those skills because she's learning as we're teaching her sister. But there's no need to put undue stress on them as they're trying to get an education, because that's actually very important. When I was younger, I ended up having my children. I had two of them, and I tried to go to college, and it didn't work out. But I always knew I wanted to go back. So I waited until, most of my kids were raised, at least to teenage years. I still have two that are not teenagers yet, which is hard to believe, before I went back to school. But with me going back to school, I'm showing them, look, it's never too late, but don't wait forever. It's 1,000 times harder for you to go to school at age 40, like I am, than it is for you to go at age 20. Which, my oldest being 19, we're hoping that she'll be done with school this year, depending on what other classes they throw at her, because they seem to be just throwing classes at her left and right, and it depends on how fast she gets them done. She may be starting college when she's 20, and then our 18-year-old, like I said, she'll be 19 when she graduates. She's going to turn 20 within her freshman year of college if she goes. So starting college around 20, 21, that's fine if you have the skills to be able to survive that. So we're just trying to make it, possible for them to get through with it. Now, as far as like things that have changed, like rules, excuse me. Rules in our house are pretty basic. I've showed them to you before, or I've gone over them with you before. They're still required to have their beds made every morning. They're still required to have their chores done before going to bed. The chore chart is still in effect. I have tweaked a few things. We're not changing things every week. We're going to change everything every other week. It makes it run smoother when we're extending it a little bit longer. It takes a couple days for each kid to kind of get in the groove of their new chore. So it just kind of gives them a little bit more time to where if they do get a little bit behind on the laundry or a little bit behind on it, they're not so overwhelmed. They have extra time to do, get caught up and get it done. That is still true for the ones who have, graduated into adulthood. The main difference is they're allowed to have their devices a little bit later at night than the other kids because they're adults. There's still rules and regulations in the house, but here's the thing. When you get out in the real world, Even as adults, we can't do whatever we want. We still answer to somebody. I can't sit here and paint my walls a bright pink because my landlord doesn't want that. Now, if I owned a house, that'd be another story. And if they do go on to own a house, that's another story. But they can't walk down the road throwing firecrackers in the road if they wanted to, because the police will pull them over, police will stop them, and that's against the law. So there's laws to follow anywhere you go, even as adults. And that is why we pretty much keep our rules still as strict with adults as we do with the kids. We just allow for a little bit more freedom so that when they get out in the big bad world, they're not so overwhelmed. As far as being able to go out with friends and stuff like that, they still have a curfew. And they still have, we still have to meet the friends. We still have to meet the friends. We still have to know friends' parents. And that's just so, because we live in a larger city now. And that's just so if something happens, we have a network of parents that can kind of help our kids navigate this world. So, I mean, it's not much different when you have an adult child. Now, if they were in their late 20s, early 30s, number one, I'm praying to God they don't live in my home. But if they do, yeah, it's going to be a lot different. So, I mean, if you have an adult child that lives in your home, or a child that's getting close to being an adult living in your home, please leave a comment below and, kind of let me know some of the things that have changed and kind of shifted as they've become adults or as they've moved back home. Feel free to like and share this video, and please subscribe so you don't miss any of the future episodes. I'm going to call it a night with the homework, and I'm going to go ahead and head off to bed. And I hope you all have a fantastic week. Bye.